Good morning, everyone. This is Aunt Beth on a very bad hair day from my lamppost. Welcome to my lamppost. I wanted to talk to you this morning about bold desperation. And I'm going to start with telling you a story. I feed the birds in my backyard. And I only feed the little ones because I think the big ones are bullies and they can fend for themselves elsewhere. But only feed the little ones. And they're very skittish. And as soon as I have a tendency to turn on the little porch light and then knock on the door before I leave to give them fair warning to leave, and then I walk down and feed them on my little patio that I have, and then go back inside and close the door and turn off the light. And I have been timing how long it takes for the birds to return. And it's not as bad as it used to be at the beginning of the winter. It was about 15, 20 minutes, sometimes a half an hour, and now it's about, I don't know, 2 minutes maybe. So they're getting bolder, trust. But yesterday, Yesterday, got all my bird seed in my different mugs to fill the feeders. My big old bowl, and I must be quite the sight because I'm in there in my jammies with my big old robe over me. And I noticed before I opened the door, there was a goldfinch on the perch of the small seed feeder. And I thought, So I filled up the mugs, put them in the big bowl so I can carry everything out. Knocked on the window, or the door. That bird still stayed. I'm like, boy, I hope he's okay. So I walked down to the feeder, and he's still on the perch. He's just hanging on there looking at me. And I'm not kidding you, he must have been no further than that far away from me. And I'm like, wow, he must be stuck. So I took off the other side of the feeder. It's one of these loop-de-doo things, and it has a feeder here and a feeder here. And the other side is more bigger things, walnuts and things like that. And I lowered it to the ground, and I filled it up, and I stood up, and I put it on the hook. And that goldfinch was still there. So then I looked at the goldfish, and I'm like, are you stuck? Are you okay? And he's just looking at me, and I'm talking to this bird, and my neighbors probably think I'm nuts. So I lowered the little feeder. And once I put it on the ground, he took off. I was sort of blocking his way, when I'm lowering it. And I'm assuming it's a male because it was very brightly colored. And I filled it up, put it back on the hook, and I hadn't even gotten in the house. That's just, 2 or 3 steps across the patio and then, up the stairs into the house. And that goldfinch was back on the feeder. And I thought, wow, that's bold desperation. He must be really hungry to just stay there despite, I'm sure it was terrifying to see somebody much larger than him, unless he thought I was Big Mama Bird, but coming down and lowering the one feeder and then lowering the other, and he's still attached to that little perch on the side of the feeder. And I thought, am I that desperate for God, that I'll hang in there when things are terrifying. The answer's on the way. But when you read in the Bible about the presence of the Lord when he comes, you know, the angels are not saying, there, it's okay. They're saying, don't be afraid. Okay? Because everybody's flat on their face. The presence of the Lord. So when he moves in my life, or troubles come, am I so boldly desperate for an answer that will sustain me, that I will hang on and I'm not letting go until he blesses me? You know, Jesus commended that kind of faith. I guess maybe the trick is to be bold, but not quite desperate. I don't know. But that goldfinch, man, oh man, I was so impressed with that goldfinch. And I thought, boy, I hope that as God draws near with the answers that I've been praying for, that I won't let go out of fear, that I'll hang on until the answer shows up. So, I hope that little story blesses you. May we all be boldly desperate for God. Have a fabulous day. All God's best.